I wish this was around when I was 11 years old. That'd be crazy.
I think YouTube is the place to be right now.
And then they'll reach out to you without you having to put them into a funnel or anything else. It'll just happen naturally because you're the guy giving away the crazy value.
Evan.
There he is.
How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me. So for people who don't know this man in front of you right now, his name is Brett Knutson. He's hit my radar recently. We got a bunch of friends in common. And just quickly go into the story. He went from Minnesota, and he has a disabled mom who wanted to meet friends and had a hard time meeting friends with similar interests. So he started an app to be able to do it. Moved from Minnesota to Silicon Valley to try to raise money to make this thing happen. Was broke, had 2 cents in his bank account, slept on the floor of a, I think, 1,200 square foot apartment with 23 people sharing the same bathroom and same fridge for 23 people. Lost 70 pounds from malnutrition over the course of, I think, a 20-month period, and then wanted to go home and throw in the towel and quit, but then got that magic phone call that finally got his funding dreams and got his first 6-figure check into his business that then led to a 7-figure check, and then led to him building this business and into a 7-figure business, an 8-figure business, and pumped to have him on the show to dive deeper into his story and hopefully bring some knowledge for you guys as well. Welcome aboard, Brett.
Thanks for having me. That was a really
was that a good summary? Did I miss out anything important?
No, that was good.
Okay, cool. So I love the story, and that's not as I think of myself when I was starting my first business in 19 and eating the same beans for lunch every day, and you know, I couldn't afford $25 to go for pizza and beer with my friends, and was too embarrassed to tell them that I had no money and couldn't get going. What I'm super curious about you is now you're starting to create content. So you built these businesses. You know, you came from nowhere. You built yourself up. You're still young. What do you know, 28, 29?
Yep, 28.
28, so still building, you know, just at the start of the career. But now you're creating content. He's on YouTube, just launched a YouTube channel. He's got 1,000 subscribers and growing. The first 1,000 is the hardest. And so it's hitting my radar because, you know, it's my business to know who the next content creators are, to give them a platform and some exposure for what I do. What are you focused on doing now? Because I see you're talking about how to pitch investors from your experience. You got your agency in a box. You talk about drop shipping. Like, where are you going now? What are you trying to accomplish right now in the life of Brett?
Yeah, so on my YouTube channel, I'm just trying to answer people's questions. So I generally get ideas for videos just from people's suggestions. So there's a lot that I've done that I don't teach, right? Like I have dropshipping stores, which is actually, this is like the first time anybody's ever heard me say that. Most people, if they follow me, have no idea. But I normally just focus on my marketing agency, which is Monopolize. And so we just work with big brands. We have Fortune 500 clients down to startups and big personal brands and stuff like that. And then I help do fulfillment for other people's agencies and help other people start agencies. That's really the only 2 things that I do now. And then the YouTube channel is just my way of sharing more with people. Instagram's kind of hard for like the type of content that I want to do. So I just started a channel inspired in part by you and a lot of our mutual friends. So
cool. And so the vision is you're going to be sharing how to start an agency, how to market yourself online. Like, what are you going to put on the channel?
So the channel is basically just how to start. It's for like new entrepreneurs. The purpose is to kind of help them find direction, because there's so much noise. And I think that there needs to be some clarity around what works and how it works. And you shouldn't have to necessarily like spend any money to learn what works and how it works. That's what I believe anyway. And I feel like I have enough experience in a lot of the different online money-making methods that people are using that I can share just what you can expect realistically, you know? So if you don't have a lot of money, I wouldn't recommend getting started in FBA or drop shipping, because it just requires a lot of split testing and trial and error and product testing, and but it doesn't mean it's not a great business model. just depends. So I think that the biggest thing is just trying to educate people in a way where normally they would have to like purchase something in order to be educated. That's the purpose of my channel. Just helping people that want to become entrepreneurs, and shortening the learning curve for people who have already started a business.
People are asking, what's your YouTube name? I think it's just off your name, Brett Knutson.
Yep. Brett Knutson,
Yeah.
youtube.com/BRETTKNUTSON.
Yeah. Is the agency a play to something bigger? What's the goal with the agency?
So my marketing agency was more of like a natural transition after Hive. So I started a social network called Hive. We ended up raising a bunch of money from investors in Silicon Valley. Our lead investor was a co-founder of EA Games. And we ended up having hundreds of thousands of users for that. And we got those users from 100% influencer marketing and nothing else. And so because of that, because we had like, this huge reach of all influencers, everybody started reaching out to me, all these different brands and stuff, and asking if they could like somehow work with my network or something like that. And it just became a very natural transition post Hive to start a marketing agency and help other people scale their brands with the resources and the people and the connections and everything that I already had from Hive. Because when I started Hive, one of the biggest realizations I had was just how much white labeling was going on in the agency space. So like you might go to, insert big marketing agency we all know very well here and very beloved, right? But they white label most of what they do, which is fine. It's impossible to be good at everything. And a lot of times you can lose a lot of margin in the white labeling process. And so I just became very diligent about trying to figure out where the rubber actually met the road and who were the actual people that were like implementing this stuff. Who were the people who were the boots on the ground for not just connections with influencers, but connections for social growth. If people wanted to like grow their accounts on social media or just like whatever it was, media buyers, people who were doing all this stuff. And so I ended up finding all of those people and then just starting a marketing agency with them. And so we called that Monopolize. And then we ended up having so much extra talent that I didn't really want to have go to waste. So that's where I started Agency Box, which is basically where we just do all of the fulfillment for agency owners and then teach them how to get clients. And then they basically just split the profit with us. So like we do all of the work and they just get the client.
So I guess in asking that, is this a transition thing for you or is this your next big thing?
This is going to be what I'm doing for a long time. I don't have like any other, like anything else on the horizon. Monopolized right now, like we're working with some of the biggest companies in the world, and it's what we're doing I think is really exciting. And then Agency Box is kind of a little bit more of like my educational legacy to just kind of help what I believe is the easiest business model to get started if you're brand new. Like we have an 11-year-old girl who's in the program, and
That's awesome.
if anybody can follow a script, right? So anybody can follow a script, and if you don't have to know how to do Facebook ads or any of the other stuff, it should be pretty simple for people to succeed. So
I look back, man. I wish this was around when I was 11 years old. That'd be crazy. I was like hawking baseball cards at 11 years old.
that was me too, except for I was a little bit nerdier than you. I was Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay. Well, we were. I'm in Toronto, and we were on the cusp of greatness with our sports team, the Blue Jays.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I was 12, 13, we won the World Series. So it was like baseball card fever plus local team winning the World Series. So it was all consuming. Cool. I asked because I look at my journey when I sold my company. So I had a biotech software company, and we sold it to a company out of California. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do next. And I hopped into venture capital because we never had to raise capital for our business. We got acquired before we needed to raise. But I was curious about it, right? Like I didn't know how the industry worked. And so I hooked up with a VC company for probably about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, just to learn it, just to understand how the mechanism worked. And then that got me to where I started helping out entrepreneurs and building my website and then YouTube channel and all that other stuff. So it was a more transition phase for me to try to learn something I didn't know because I also didn't know what I wanted to do next. Let's use me as an example. So I'm launching two things coming up. I'm launching my YouTube course for thought leaders on how to get to 1 million subscribers.
Congratulations on that.
Well, I'm hoping so. And then I'm doing my book, my next book. So the YouTube course is higher ticket. It's a $2,000 price point, and it's geared towards people who want to take their YouTube channel seriously. The book is more mass market. It's called Built to Serve. It's about everybody has a purpose and a mission, and they're built to serve. We have to go off and chase it, and then how to turn that into a business. That's a $26, price point. I'm going to be doing a tour, 90 days, 20 to 22 cities in 2020 to launch the book.
Awesome.
So I'm going to spend a quarter of the year on the road. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So if I came to you and said, hey, Brett, how can Monopolize help me? What would my next steps be to get as much reach, sales, exposure for either of those two projects?
So one of the things that we're doing right now, and I don't know how much I am at liberty to share this, but I'll ask for forgiveness if I'm not, is we're doing what's called an Omnipresence campaign for Grant Cardone. And so what we do is we basically just are going to be spreading a low ticket offer across a ridiculous amount. I mean, it's like our page reach on Instagram is over 3 billion followers, which obviously there's some overlap in human beings, but there's no overlap in pages. So we're basically just doing an omnipresence campaign of everybody outside of his targeting to see anybody that's left, right? Because he's spending like $150,000 a day in ads. And so the purpose of that is just to get word out everywhere. And so there's campaigns like that we do for a lot of different companies and a lot of different personal brands on all sorts of different levels of scale. But there's also a lot of things that we can talk about offline that I think that you could do that wouldn't even honestly cost much money and that wouldn't necessarily even require working with us. But marketing it's really all about being creative. Like the most creative wins all the time. Like if you're super creative, you can beat someone with a lot of money. And so that's what we like to believe we specialize at with Monopolize, and what makes it so fun for me. Because when we were launching Hive, a lot of people don't know this, but we basically ran out of money right before the launch was supposed to happen. And we tried to get bridge financing, and we couldn't because everybody wanted to wait and see how the launch went. So it was just worst case scenario type thing. So I ended up digging $100,000 of my own money, which I didn't have a lot of money at the time. So this is $50,000 worth of credit card debt is in there too, to fund this launch. And it ended up doing really well. And the only reason why was because we had to think creatively. So instead of paying all these influencers, which a lot of people think that we just paid them, we gave them all equity in the company instead. And so we had, millions of dollars worth of shares that we gave to all these different influencers and had them post. And since they had an equity interest in the company, they were all the more driven to make sure that they made it valuable. And so we got a lot more out of them than we ever would have gotten otherwise if we had just paid them. And because they owned equity in the company, they also didn't have to follow any sort of FTC regulations where they said it was an ad, because it wasn't an ad. It was their company. And so we created tons of natural word of mouth that way because it wasn't an ad. It was their company that they were promoting. And so stuff like that is what I love trying to brainstorm for other companies. And, that's what we do.
So what would be end of 2019, going into 2020, your number one go-to? Is it still Instagram influencers?
No. Although that's what everybody wants. I would say YouTube is honestly really, really powerful as far as just results. Anytime we've ever done a YouTube influencer campaign, we've seen way better results. Even YouTube paid is better than Facebook paid. And so our go-to is YouTube. Obviously, a lot of people want to think that they're innovative if they're doing stuff on TikTok. The reality is what we've seen is TikTok is incredible if you want to force virality of a song in particular. So we've actually made songs hit top 40 on the charts, and everyone thinks it's organic, and it's not. And so what we do is we'll just we'll pay a bunch of influencers to do a dance challenge. I'm sure you've seen these. A dance challenge to a song that an artist wants to go viral, and then we'll repurpose all that content on TikTok and we'll put it on Instagram. And it looks like it's growing organically, but it's all paid. And that same thing happened with like a lot of Drake's like hit songs and stuff when his albums come out. Like a lot of these big artists, they're carefully orchestrated marketing strategies. They're not organic. But that's really all I've seen with TikTok. I think YouTube is the place to be right now.
I'm glad I'm on the place to be right now.
Yeah.
What I've seen with YouTube is, yeah, we got to get you up 1,000. We got to pump out more content. How often are you making content on your YouTube channel?
Mondays and Thursdays, and I release my videos at the exact same time. So I'm doing the consistency thing as best as I can.
I love it. And is it all like talking to the camera kind of stuff? I'm just looking over your channel now.
Yeah, I have like 2 videos, I think, where I like go really deep and I screen share and stuff. But usually it's just me talking to the camera about whatever subject I feel people would be benefited most by. But it's all entrepreneurship, all entrepreneurship and personal finance.
I would look at doing some coaching too.
Some coaching in like what way? Like, I'm super open-minded to what you're saying, but.
Yeah. You have somebody come on who needs help, and you help them, and you film the process. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that idea. That's kind of like what Graham does, but like in like a more of like a podcast format. That's a good idea.
Video Crushes podcast.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'll have to look into that because I like doing one-on-one coaching and I don't really have much time for it anymore. So that could be something that I could do and just offer that for free or something.
Well, it's free if it's going to be public.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good.
It's paid, then they're a client and you're going to run them through your machine.
Yeah. No, it's a good suggestion. Have you tried doing anything like that?
I've done some. It really depends on what your secret sauce is, because at the beginning, the way you're doing it is the hardest way because you're not used to this yet.
Yeah.
Like you're developing your style and format and communication skills and all that. And it's a great skill to learn because, in 20 years, it's going to, like this communication skill ability, you'll be able to use for the rest of your life. 100%. But that's a skill that's being developed versus you already have, like you are genius level talent at helping people be creative with their campaigns. So instead of just you talking about it, let me see it actually happen.
Sure. So like case study style, real time.
Kind of, but it's more. It's not. The aim isn't just to be a case study in that it's a testimonial for you. It's that, wow, this person came in with like what I started this with. Hey, I'm trying to sell my $2,000 YouTube course. How do I do it? Right? And yes, we have our own plans and everything, but the goal for you always would be to come in and you provide some crazy creative idea that then becomes the whole thing. And my eyes get blown up to say, holy cow, Brett's a god. But in my transformation, everybody else watching feels the same thing.
Yeah. No, that's really good suggestion.
So they see themselves in me or in your guest who comes on and said, well, he got a result for them, he can get a result for me. And some people can afford you and will hire Monopolize, and other people, they can't, but they might buy your course, or they might just follow you on YouTube and watch your videos. Because the free leads you to the paid. The more free people you get, there's only percentage will end up buying from you, becoming clients.
What's weird is I've talked to so many of my friends on YouTube, and I'm aware of the insane numbers of business they do organically through YouTube, and I of course I want that side benefit, but I struggle with like whether or not I even want to try to push people and or like make it so it's so centered around what I do, so that way it like funnels more people or not.
You don't have to even have a game plan for it. Just by you providing value, people will want to learn more about you.
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of like what I'm already doing, but just more more, like, better information, really, because I can give better information to one person than I can to everybody at mass trying to guess what everybody's needs are. I get that. It's a good
Yeah, and just developing the skill set with more practice of speaking to the camera.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's at the beginning. And
Yeah.
so, but your knowledge set isn't at the beginning,
Yeah.
right? So the ability to go in and help somebody, like if I came in and said, hey, help me sell my book, and then you help me create this plan for my 90-day tour with all these things I didn't think about or know about, and I leave wide-eyed and like, this is amazing. Anybody else who wants to promote their $26 product now sees, one, they've gotten a lot of valuable information that they can just take and use. And thank you, Brett, for being the guy to, expose the industry and show us for free how to do it. But there'll be other people who say, I don't want to do all that work myself. Can I just hire you?
Yeah.
And then they'll reach out to you without you having to put them into a funnel or anything else. It'll just happen naturally because you're the guy giving away the crazy value.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that too, because there are a lot of times that we've landed clients. It's just been because they already know, like I can explain how to do something yourself, but it might take you 2 years instead of like 2 months. So yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion. I'm going to take you up on that.
If you're working with Grant, as an example, like Grant's best videos are not his set, and Grant's a great communicator and he's awesome on set and on stage and all that, but his best videos, yeah, it's his live sales. It's his live, like, show me you doing the thing that you're great at.
That's
not
true.
him sitting behind a desk and pitching something on his whiteboard, right? It's the live stuff. And it doesn't even have to be well shot or edited or anything else because he's so good at doing the thing that he's good at, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I need marketing help, it's like, great, step into my lab, let's go. And you film it. You might edit it down a little bit, right? Maybe a 45-minute conversation turns into a 15-minute video. But in that process, we get to see the Brett genius come out naturally. And those videos would do, I think, a lot better.
That's a really good suggestion. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that.
Now I want to do it. I want to do it. Where are you in California?
I'm in Vegas. I used to live in Vegas. But I live in Vegas now.
Okay. I don't know the next time I'm coming to Vegas. I'm coming to California. I leave tomorrow, actually. I'm in LA for a week, speaking and doing a bunch of events.
Are you going to be... I leave tomorrow for LA too. So we'll have to connect.
Okay.
I'll be in LA tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. We'll figure that out after this. But like that should be the process, right? If you can walk somebody through and set up 1 or 2 cameras, doesn't have to be super technical or crazy lit or anything. The most important is just audio quality and then like quality of thought to take somebody and totally blow up their marketing strategy. Like to be able to see you with Grant and tell him, here's what you need to do, Grant. And he says, all right, let's hire these guys and see.
Yeah.
Right? That meeting would have been epic, but then also any startup who's just trying to figure it out. Like your training is awesome on the course. Show me, bring that 11-year-old girl on and teach her and blow her mind.
Yeah. No, I think
you would crush it, Dave.
I think people, I think that like what's counterintuitive is everybody wants to believe that what people want to hear is baseline of where they're at. But what everybody wants to hear is stuff that's so far beyond them, because what that does is it builds credibility and trust. And then you can kind of go backwards after that.
Cool, man. All right, well, it's crazy how quickly 25 minutes flies by when you're having fun.
Yeah.
For people who want to find out more about you, where do you want them to go? Your YouTube channel, Instagram?
Yeah, YouTube would be great. It's just youtube.com/Brett, BRETT, Knutson, KNUTSON, or you can just search Brett Knutson.
You already got the vanity URL. That's pretty good.
I'm trying. Got all my little boxes checked.
Yeah. That's rare for a channel of 1,000 subscribers. I love it. Cool. We'll link that up for the YouTube audience in the description down below. Brett, really appreciate you, man. Looking forward to getting to know you better and maybe hanging out in LA too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
If you want to see a quick talk I gave on how anyone can grow a YouTube channel, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
You can't only be trapped by what people want. You have to love it. Practice. Come do one. Yeah.